We're Robin and Steve. We left off in Savu Savu with our gorgeous visitors and me with one bung foot. Our guests are Steve's son Jack and Jack's girlfriend Alana. This dog isn't our guest, but seems to love it here at Split Rock. I couldn't swim, so I was grateful for the company. And for the entertainment. But soon, cute random dog found another friend, as Steve, Jack and Alana enjoyed snorkeling. Since leaving Tassie, we haven't used a car, but we hired one here and went to a lookout. I did enjoy getting a different perspective of Savu Savu from the car and being able to look down at the ocean. And given that my foot had just been stitched up, I was grateful to have a car for these few days. We caught up again with Jack and Alana for one last dinner. $7 curry, so delicious. And then we went separate ways. Steve and I would leave Savu Savu and sail off around to the top of Vanua Levu. First we headed west and made our way through this pass in the reef, where the waters are a bit calmer and where the seas are thick with dolphins. At least at this point in time, this was the most dolphins we'd seen in ages. On this side of the island we saw a lot of fires, not only where cane farmers were burning off, but where land was being cleared. So we pondered the mass destruction of ecosystems while dolphin watching. Dolphins also helped distract me from my foot, which sadly wasn't getting better. Anyway, this was our first anchorage on the way to the top side of Vanua Levu. A dawn chorus of goats. We optimistically put our sails up to continue our journey to the top of Vanua Levu, where soon we are to meet my mum. The sails didn't do much that morning. This is Monkey Face Pass. To us, the rock looked more like a mountain gorilla than a monkey. It was hazy with smoke from all the burning off, but still spellbindingly beautiful. And then more dolphins. Sleepy dolphins, baby. At this stage we were motoring. We had to get to Nanduri in time to meet Mum. So far we were on track. And soon we could sail again, with wind from behind. This was our last anchorage on the way to Nanduri. Sea crate, a semi-aquatic snake with scales like terrestrial snakes, but a tail adapted for swimming. These snakes have to come ashore to lay their eggs. I found a way to still go walking with a modified sneaker. There's our boat. A lot of the land up here has been pretty trashed due to agriculture. I'll tell you more about that later. For now, we'd made it. This is where we were going to meet Mum. And I'll admit I was quite nervous. Although on the leeward side from the trade winds, at this point in time, it wasn't a very good anchorage. But I felt much better after a morning kayak. My goal was to take Mum kayaking in mangroves and hopefully to go for a sail. The kayaking looked achievable. As for the sailing, we had to take Mum on a test run. Climbing into the kayak is quite hard, let alone climbing out of the kayak onto the boat. The day before Mum arrived, Steve and I sailed to this sandbar. We couldn't find nice coral in this area, but did find some gorgeous rock formations at a nearby island. Where would we take Mum sailing? And would our resort be there in the morning? It looked like it was on fire.
Say hello. Neil. And there's the boat.
Clearly we'd have to time our adventures with the tides. The resort hadn't burnt down, and Mum arrived on time. The fire had just been a nearby cane field. It was a big build-up, but we found Mum, and Mum was keen to see the water, which involved walking past the local cows.
Hello. Are you a baby boy? It looks like a nice baby. Good morning.
Shout, they get kicky.
Okay.
We're both backing.
They won't worry you. Just don't stand near the back end, that's all.
Our first mission was to see if it was okay for Mum to get from the kayak into the boat, and then get back into the kayak and onto land. The tide wasn't perfect. Steve piggybacked me and then helped Mum. And then it was Mum's birthday party. Next day, our hosts took us to the hospital at Lumbassa. My foot had been stitched up, so I couldn't even snorkel with one flipper. So this is a coral flashback and foot update. Slivers of painted timber were removed from my foot. The soluble stitch had not dissolved, and the swelling hadn't gone down. I'd had multiple courses of antibiotics, and I was actually pretty worried. The stitch was not soluble after all, so they took it out and left me with more antibiotics. Then we could look around Lumbassa a little bit. The markets were really busy and offered a huge range of great produce. Our lovely hosts, Julie and Litty, insisted on stopping for ice cream on the way home. This is sugar country. From the late 1800s, the British brought Indians to Fiji to be indentured labourers. I don't know the full history, but it sounds unpleasant. But here we were now, enjoying another beautiful place with a checkered history. This was a big day. Mission to take Mum sailing. We woke extra early to fit in our yoga routine. We already knew that Mum was a superstar at getting in and out of the kayak and climbing onto the boat. Now we just needed wind. Mum has done quite a bit of sailing and seemed right at home. Our first stop was at the outer reef, but the coral didn't look great, so we kept going and found this beautiful bird colony. This is where we stopped for lunch, bird watching, and a paddle. We were making good speed.
We're proper sailing, Mum.
It had already been an action-packed day. And then Steve caught a fish. A wahoo. We took it back and Litty prepared it for us and for the staff. Then it was time for a well-earned rest. To prepare for the next mission, kayaking with Mum in mangroves. Due to our diligent preparations, we had the tide and the weather just right.
Oh, yes, please.
It's a little hard.
So,
Oh, yeah.
beautiful.
Yay! We paddled and chatted and covered all kinds of topics, including hippos.
Dangerous when you consider. I didn't know that they were by far the most killing animal in Africa, the hippo.
About a 40-minute paddle away, we found this beach. Yeah. Next, we paddled a bit over 40 minutes the other way to check out a shipwreck with teeth. A cyclone casualty. By now I was feeling pretty relieved to have accomplished our missions. Our next missions were more random, like walk into the cane fields, check out the local gardens, and meet the local goats. I can't remember their breed, but I assure you it was very fancy. We also met local cattle and birds. And the resident cats, who seemed quite relaxed. We didn't have many sundowners left, but we're having an absolute ball. Join us next time as we meet with more friends and then send Mum off before sailing to the Yasawa group. Oh yeah, and there'll be more about my foot too. Yawn.